I want to take you now to Aurora, Colorado, where the interim police chief, Vanessa Wilson, is speaking following the resignation of an officer due to his involvement in photos appearing to mimic the death of Elijah McClain. Let's listen.
I know that you received a press packet, and you have the photo, and you have some details of the case. While the allegations of this internal affairs case are not criminal, it is a crime against humanity and decency. To even think about doing such a thing is beyond comprehension, and it's reprehensible. It shows a lack of morals, values, and integrity, and a judgment that I can no longer trust to allow them to wear this badge. It's a privilege to wear this badge, and it's not a right. 8 days ago on Thursday afternoon, I was alerted that Aurora police officers had taken a photo at the memorial site of Elijah McClain. Not only that did they take the photo with smiles in their faces, they reenacted a karate control hold, which is what was administered on Elijah that night. This picture was taken on October 20th of 2019. I am disgusted to my core, and I immediately ordered an internal affairs investigation, and I promised that I would expedite that investigation, as is my right as the chief of police. It is important to understand, after I had ordered the investigation, I made sure that each officer was ordered in that evening and that those interviews were done that evening. I had placed them all on administrative leave with pay immediately, and I want everyone across the country to know that by city charter, I can only place officers on administrative leave without pay if they're charged with a felony. So that is why they were placed with pay. I know that everyone, this story came out on Monday night. I had our legal advisor reach out to Shanine McClain's lawyer and told her that I would like to sit down and make sure that she has all the information. No one has the right to see these pictures before she sees these pictures. This is her son. This is her son being mocked. I met with Elijah's mother this morning, along with her attorney, at 9 a.m., and she was able to see these photos before the world sees them. And that's the right thing to do, and that is why I haven't come out with anything sooner. The case was completed Monday night, late Monday night, at about 8 o'clock. I ordered a mandatory Chiefs Review Board to be held first thing Tuesday morning. As soon as the Chiefs Review Board met, they gave me their recommendation, which was termination. And I immediately ordered those officers in for what's called their pre-disciplinary hearing with the Chief of Police. This is part of the due process that is given to these officers. At their pre-disciplinary hearing, they are told that they have 3 days to send me anything that they would like me to consider in addition to their statements that I read in the investigation. None of them sent me any additional information. I want to make that clear. There were 4 officers to start with that were involved in this and found to be in violation of conduct unbecoming was the directive they were found in violation of. One officer, as you all are aware, resigned Tuesday morning, and I want to tell him I appreciate you doing the right thing. I appreciate you realizing what you have done and what a despicable act and what you have brought upon this nation, upon this family, and you have embarrassed law enforcement yet again. After the pre-disciplinary hearing, it's by city charter that I must wait. I have no other remedy but to wait 72 hours before their final disciplinary hearing. So those officers had requested an IRB, which I denied. An IRB is an investigative review board, which is merely a recommendation that is given to the Chief of Police. Nothing was going to change my mind on termination. Therefore, I denied their right to an investigative review board, and I am legally able to do so. I met with these officers today at 11:30, 11:45, and 12 o'clock, 72 hours since Tuesday when they had their pre-disciplinary hearing with me, and I terminated the remaining 3. They are no longer able to wear this badge or represent this agency. I would like now, I know a lot of you have received this in the press packet, and I can tell you all this is very disturbing, these photos, and I want to go ahead and put this so that the camera can zoom in on the first photo, and then I will show the other photo. So the officer in the middle of this photo is Jared Jones. He is the one that resigned on Tuesday. The other two are Kyle Dietrich and Erica Marrero. Is that sufficient time? Tilt it forward, sure. Just let me know when you're ready. Okay. The one in the middle with a ball cap. Is that good, sir? Okay. This photo is 1,000 times worse than the first of the smiling at the memorial. This photo, they are actually reenacting. Is this a good down? Yeah, they're actually reenacting a karate control hold. Let me know when you're ready, sir. Good. Okay. It's reprehensible, and that's why they no longer work here. I would like to give you some information about those officers. Kyle Dietrich, which is depicted in the photo, he has been on the Aurora Police Department for 3 years, since 2016. Jared Jones, depicted in the photo, he has been on 3 years, also 2016, and he is the one that resigned. Erica Marrero, depicted in the photo, has been employed for 2 years and was hired in 2018. The last officer that I fired received this photo and replied with an inappropriate comment of "ha ha." There was absolutely nothing funny about this. That officer is Jason Rosenblatt. He has been on for 3 years. He is not being involved because of him being in the incident of the photo. He is being fired for his lack and utter inability to do the right thing here. And to say "ha ha" when he was engaged in the incident with Elijah McClain is absolutely unacceptable. Once again, I would like to apologize to the agencies across the nation, because as we know, misconduct in any police department reverberates across the nation. So I want to apologize to my colleagues. I also want to remind everyone that the only reason this came to light to me was because of an honorable Aurora police officer who was disgusted by what he saw, and he reported it to a sergeant. That sergeant immediately called me and said, "Ma'am, we have a problem, and I need to bring him in to be interviewed by Internal Affairs." So there are good officers, and I want to say to those out there that are working here today that I appreciate you. We will get through this, but hold your heads high, because we know that there are cops that have integrity, they understand duty, and they understand honor. These 4 don't get it. And if any officer in this police department disagrees and thinks that this was acceptable, I will gladly accept your resignation today. Again, I want to apologize to the McClain family, and I will open it up for questions.
Chief, what about Nathan Woodyard and Randy Rodima? They are other people that were involved in the original incident. Some may look at this and say, why are you firing people who took a photograph of the incident instead of the actual people who were involved?
So I was not the chief of police during the original incident. I can only deal with this incident, and I'm not saying that that is being investigated by 4 other agencies now, the FBI, the DOJ, the independent investigation that the city called for, as well as the governor asking Attorney General Phil Weiser to look into this case. So I respectfully am not going to comment any further on that. I don't want to interfere with any of those investigations. I'm looking forward to what comes out of those, and so we can move forward as a community.
The Police Association today said that this is a rush of judgment. And can you explain either why you disagree or agree with that?
So the question was that the Aurora Police Association said that I had rushed to judgment on this. It is my prerogative, and the public outcry and demand for justice for Elijah, and just the absolute, they don't deserve to wear a badge anymore. And I accelerated it, and I was able to do that legally, and I felt it was the right thing for this community.
Are you instituting any sort of new reforms inside the police department? There are obviously some that came from the statewide bill. All these other departments are looking at different things they can do internally. In terms of this case, there's multiple. There's the arrest incident, but then there's also these photos. I mean, what are you doing internally moving forward?
So we're going to be looking at any directive changes that we can have that something like this happens in the future, that we can immediately address it. So I have to look at legalities of that to make sure that I can put a directive in if someone receives a photo like this, that they're mandated to let me know and turn it in.
Chief, I know you have heard from a lot of people in this community, and whether it's these two photos or the death of an unarmed black man who had committed no crime, to failing to investigate one of your own when he was found passed out drunk in a police car, a lot of people believe that the culture of the Aurora Police Department is broken and poisoned. How do you respond to that?
I can say that we've made a lot of mistakes, and that we have addressed those mistakes, and I am continuing to address those mistakes with transparency and also holding officers accountable. So I believe that the termination of these 3 officers shows you that, as well as other officers that I have recently terminated. And the culture has been reset, and they know that this will not be tolerated.
Chief, beyond internally, externally, what steps are you taking now, or will you take to repair the image of the police department within the community?
That's going to take things like this, holding people accountable, being honest and transparent about it, making sure that the families are brought into the situation prior to it ever leaking to the media, and so that they aren't surprised by things that have happened. Training and talking about why this isn't acceptable. I shouldn't have to teach this. There's no training that should teach human decency. And so we've changed directives regarding suspicious persons calls, which was what the call that officers responded to during the Elijah incident. And I'm hoping that with changing directives and looking at our policies and procedures, I'm looking very much forward to working with the community task force that has community members on it to come in and look at our things that we're doing, make suggestions, and be a part of how we move forward. And hopefully with that, we can regain the trust of this community. But it's going to take time, and I'm not sitting here thinking this is going to do it here today. I know that people are angry and people are grieving. Yes?
There's a memorandum in here for Nathan Woodard for unbecoming behavior. Do you know why this is not sustained and why it's in here in the first place? Did he receive the photo?
So Nathan Woodyard did receive the photo. He immediately deleted it, did not forward it or make any comments of that. So there is no directive. Like I said before, when we talk about changes, there is no directive that says an officer has to report something like that. I can tell you I've spoken with Officer Woodyard. He is devastated by this and disgusted.
Can you clarify how widely this was shared? Is it just 5 people, or just explain how many people saw this photograph?
So the 3 obviously that took it, and it was forwarded to Nathan Woodyard and Rosenblatt. So 5 total. And we checked phones to make sure that it didn't go beyond that.
And so the unnamed officer here how is that person connected?
So a female officer, they thought she may have been on it was a group text that this photo came through on, and she was completely exonerated. She did not receive the photo.
The Aurora Police Association, I know you already addressed their comments, but they're
Sure.
accusing you of violating the officers' due process rights and confiscating and going through their phone. Can you respond to that?
I absolutely can. So in the internal affairs investigation, every officer that was interviewed gave their phones voluntarily, but we followed it up with an order at their request. So I didn't violate any due process laws. The APA has attorneys, and so do I.
You're in a building right now that has boarded up windows right behind you. How
Yes.
should the community respond when they see these photos?
I'm sure they're angry, and I'm sure they would want them to be fired, and I've done that today. I can't take it back, and I wish I could.
The officer that resigned, is he able to get his post-certification
So the officer that, just because he resigned, the file will show that he was going to be terminated as well, and that will be shared under the new law with the post certification. So he will be no longer be able to be an officer here in the state of Colorado.
The officer said just been responding to an incident. Is there any body camera video of this where they were taking the photo afterwards?
No, ma'am, this was something they did on their own.
Did any of them, I know you said they didn't give you anything in writing, did any of them say anything to you about their, were they apologetic? Did they explain why they did this?
Yes, they did. And their explanation, I don't buy it, is that they were trying to cheer up a friend by sending that photo. And how anybody could think that was going to make anybody happy is beyond me. Mr. Rosenblatt felt that he would respond, ha-ha, and I can tell you that Mr. Woodyard was extremely disturbed and is still very much having a hard time dealing with this entire situation.
And which friend were they trying to cheer up? Was it Rosenblatt or
Woodyard.
So I might have missed the timeline. Can you take me back? This happened
Sure.
eight months ago?
So the photo was taken, Elijah, the incident with Elijah was August 24th of 2019. The photo was taken October 20th of 2019 outside of the location where there was a memorial set up for Elijah. 8 days ago is when an officer of the Aurora Police Department came forward and let us know that this was out there.
So what happened between that 8 months? There's an 8-month gap there. What happened? Why did it take so long?
It was no one brought it forward to me or any of my executive staff.
So the person that brought it forward to you, did they wait 7 months?
They found out about it, I believe. I'd have to check the file, and the file will be released to the family as well, just so you're aware. I believe he found out about it in March. He struggled on how to move forward, knowing he talked to his wife, and he knew that deep in his heart he had to do something because he was hoping they were going to bring it forward, and no one ever did.
Did Randy Rodimas receive the photo?
He did not.
Can you clarify whether there were a bunch of officers involved, like, that had showed up to the scene after the 3 officers arrested him? Were the officers in the photo involved in the initial incident, or?
No, they were not. And I will double check on that, but I don't believe they responded to that call at all. Any other questions? All right, I thank you for your time. And again, Ms. McClain, we talked this morning, and I apologize again. Thank you very much.